What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a Roundtable Sports NFC North Roundtable. Listen, we got a special treat for you all, and I'm sorry, I'm laughing because the guys are backstage. They're cracking up jokes. And I'm not even gonna share it with y'all. I'll just say that these guys are crazy, man. All right, so NFC North Division standings predictions. We're gonna get underway in just a moment, but before we do, we want you to know that this stream is being powered by BetUS. Receive a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000, ladies and gentlemen. Take advantage using the link in the description of the video. All right. And it's also pinned at the top of the chat. Before we get started, let's hear a quick word from Michael Vick.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
BetUS, ladies and gentlemen, online sports book and casino. And just so you know, BetUS isn't just the online sports book and casino, ladies and gentlemen. You also have the race book and also BetUS TV. Make sure that you check it out. BetUS, if you're looking for a new sports book, they got you covered. One game I want to highlight at 8:20 p.m. on Friday. Okay, to start the season off overseas. This is an amazing game at Corinthians Arena, Sao Paulo, Brazil. We got the Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Real quick before we get started, Daz, talk to me. Plus 125. Are you taking that?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a disrespect to favor the Eagles here, and I'm gonna give you a couple reasons. The number one liked NFL team in Brazil is the Green Bay Packers. So
wow.
Both teams are going to have to travel, and that's a lot of travel. But I think it's going to be a majority Green Bay Packers fan base in that stadium. So to have them, it's not a home game. It's not Lambeau Field, of course, but I think it's going to be rocking, and there's going to be a lot of Green Bay Packers fans, and I think they should be favored. So, yeah, I'm all over the plus money.
Now that is very interesting, man. It looks like some good money to be made there. Brazil, a new environment for NFL football. I'm excited about it because I actually love the expansion of the NFL having games overseas because I can foresee teams officially being in those other countries in the future as well. All right, but without further ado, we're not going to hold you all long this evening. We got the NFC North standings predictions right here on Roundtable Sports. If you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe to NFC North Roundtable. Also, punch that like button on your way in, and don't forget to check to see if you did on your way out. All right, Nick, how you feeling?
He's muted.
He's feeling muted, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm muted because I'm too excited. I'd be yelling the whole time. No, I'm excited about this upcoming season, TD. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is NFC North's toughest division in football, and it's going to get really, really intense later this season. So I'm pumped.
All right, and what about you, Onebar?
No, I agree, Nick. You're right. This will be one of the best divisions in the league. I hope the Vikings can put up a fight and get some dubs here. This will be a fun episode. I look forward to seeing where everybody has the Vikings landing.
Interesting. Baz, talk to us.
It's an amazing graphic. You got the two guys on top. You got Darnold and Jordan Love. I love it because honestly, we talked about it Wednesday about our roster rankings and Onebar. I think you're down a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if year one Darnold had a better stat line than Caleb Williams. I really wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I wouldn't sit here, come on this show week 17 and go, wow. Like I would be like, all right, kind of checks out. So I'm hyped for the NFC North. I think the Vikings, I'm going to tell you my record prediction today, and it's not going to replicate what I'm saying right now, but I think they're going to do better than most people think, and it's a very tough division. It's a very good one. I think there's a lot of good rosters in this division.
Interesting. Talk to me, Dion. You got Jared Goff over to the right, just hanging out like, hey, I belong.
Yeah, it feels like he's like staring at me or something, man. I'm trying not to look in his eyes. Look, man, whoever made the graphic, clap to them. This looks fantastic. I'm ready for football, bro. Thursday, Friday, and Sunday is crazy. I don't know that that's ever been a thing, but I'm ready for it. I just want to watch football, whoever it is.
Man, I never thought about it that way. Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Big time, man. I love it as well. I wish it was just every week that way. Actually, I'm the individual that wish we had Monday night football, doubleheader, Thursday night football, doubleheader, Friday night, one game, Sunday morning overseas, and then only like 6 games on Sunday where we can actually see more than half the league's games throughout the week so people could be more educated on what all the teams are doing. I just love football, man. I wish that was the schedule. But hey, moving to 18 games, you never know what's to come. But we got the NFC North standings predictions. It is time to dive in. I'm excited to see what you guys have on the board. We're going to start first. All right. Drum roll. Onebar, talk to us.
All right.
Take it
So
back.
I said it in the live. I said I'm gonna play the Aw Shucks card. And if it pans out and the Vikings just suck this year, I can just go along with it. And if for some reason they surprise some teams out there and they win some games, then I can start talking a little smack. But I got to know my role right now. And anybody covering the NFL, you know, you got to look at the Vikings right now and see what they're doing. And just be like, you know, they are a team that is probably not going to make a push for the playoffs for anything but the cellar. Anything better than that will be great. So let me break this down. So, and before I break it down, let me just say this. You could take any of these records and change any of those top 3 logos, and I would not be surprised one damn bit. So this was actually really tough. I mean, I went through all the schedules, I went through the rosters, and I put a lot of thought into this. And Dion, I got Lions. To me, until proven otherwise, they will be the cream of the crop. Not saying that one of these other 2 teams can't make a push for them. But the Lions, they like you said in the live on Wednesday, they got a kicker. They added some pieces to that secondary. Their offense is the real deal. So I do believe the Lions will be on top. When it comes to the next 2, it's like neck and neck for me. I do think the Bears are going to surprise the league this year. I think they're going to be good. I think Caleb Williams is gonna help take this team with those receivers. I think they're going to be a very, very good team along with that defense. Packers, same thing. I mean, 10-7, you can flip either of these guys around. It doesn't matter who's on top at 10-7. Packers, this is going to be it's either going to be, when I look at the Packers, it's going to be a team that either just all of a sudden is maybe that 12-5 team, or is that 10-7 team. Like, this is their moment, baby. I mean, this is their moment for Jordan Love, the depth of the receivers, the pieces they added on defense. It's like this is their year to show like this is the North is ours. And right now, I'm not buying into it. Like when I look at their schedule, like the mid part of their schedule is brutal. Like they got some tough teams. They got the Rams, they got Houston, they got the Lions, Bears, Niners. So it's going to get very, very rough there. And going back to the Lions, they're going to be smooth sailing out of the gates. They're gonna have a very good record right out of the gate. They got it very easy. But and then just quick on the Bears schedule, they end really rough. So the top 3 teams, it's a coin flip for me. But this is how I see it shaking out with the Vikings at 8-9. I gotta say, you know, at 8-9, I'm probably giving them this will probably be the best record out of all you guys that also show it. But last year with Nick Mullins, with the same offense, and they were in 1-score games for like 6 games. Like Sam Darnold's better than Nick Mullins. Sam Darnold is going to have a good year. I'm not saying he's going to have a great year and enough of a good year to put this team over the top. He's going to play well. He's going to I anticipate him getting a contract next year from some teams. It's like, all right, he actually played pretty good. So I do expect the Vikings to do better. I think their over-under is like 6.5. I think they'll be better. I think they'll win a couple of games. When it comes to the North, maybe they'll get two out of the 6 games we play against you guys. But they also have some games, you know, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Giants. So they're going to get some wins. But this is how I see it shaking out. I would love to put the Vikings above last place, but I got to be real.
Interesting. Hey, you're showing some respect at the top, somewhat optimistic about your own team, and that middle just looks so interesting. I'm telling you, if I'm you, Nick, you should be excited about this.
I am. Thanks, Onebar. I appreciate it. I feel really bad for the record I gave Onebar now.
Hey, bring it on, man. That's what I'm saying. We'll just surprise some team. That's my hope.
And I don't know if Bass should be excited or upset. I really don't know. All right, let's move forward to the next one. Drum roll. Bass himself. Oh, man. Talk to us, Bass.
Well, every time we've come on this stream, I've pretty much said, to me, it's Lions, Packers, and then like a little bit of drop off, then the Bears, and the Vikings. And that's kind of where I have it here. And where Dion ranked his roster, like a 97%, and the Packers were a 96%, I have it the other way around. The Packers are the 97%. And the Lions are the 96%. I just feel the Packers going 12-5 here. Onebar, when you mentioned that middle of the schedule, the tough teams they played against, that's quite literally the 5 losses I have. Rams, Texans, Lions once, San Fran, and Nick, don't get overexcited. I have Chicago beating the Packers once.
Wow.
Because they're gonna put all their damn effort in that game, and that's it. And that's what it's gonna be for them. So first win for them against the Packers since 2018. I actually think it's going to happen. As for the Bears, 9-8, they have some tough teams as well. Similar opponents, obviously. I don't know if they could beat the Texans and Rams. I have them losing to the Vikings. I have them losing to the Lions twice, splitting the Green Bay Packers. So Dion, you got to be happy there. I have the Lions sweeping the Bears, but the Packers actually splitting them. So although the Packers are above, I actually have the Lions split them. I just feel like that could happen. It's bound to happen. Like, something's got to give, right? It's been since 2018. Like, something has to give. Just like last year, something had to give, and the Lions won the division for the first time. You guys also play San Fran, Seattle. Those are the 2 other losses I have to make them out to 9-8. Minnesota 6-11. I said it earlier in this stream that I do believe Sam Darnold isn't getting enough credit. But it's not enough to be like, okay, like Onebar said, they're not going to go out there and win the division or make a playoff run. I just don't think he's going to be able to do enough when it matters. Say if they're in a 1-score game and it's a 4th quarter drive and Sam Darnold has to go out there and win the game. Will he be enough in that scenario? Probably not. And similarly to all of our other teams here, they have a tough schedule. San Fran, Texans, Packers twice. I see them losing both of those games, even though we usually split with the Minnesota Vikings. I actually have the Packers sweeping them this year. They play the Jets, the Lions twice. I could see the Lions sweeping them as well. So Dion, I got the Lions sweeping the 2 other teams. Yeah, I know. Rams, Seahawks, and even Falcons. I think Kirk Cousins will go in and just like light up the Minnesota Vikings just to piss them off.
Not happening.
I think it's gonna happen. I fully think it's gonna happen. And I don't know if I touched on Detroit, 11-6. I think they lose week 1. I think they lose week 1 against the Rams, and I think that'll be the one difference game where like 12-5 to 11-6. I think Matthew Stafford gets the revenge, man. I think it happens. I like the Rams. They play Dallas. I had them losing to. I had them again splitting with the Packers, and then also losing to the Texans, Bills, and 49ers. And those are all very tough teams. Like, that could go either way. But when you look at each of these teams' rosters, there's a section of them on each of them, like the Texans and whatnot, that you're worried about because the Texans are a good football team. So I got Packers winning the division, taking back the North.
So I got to call this out, man. Bass, are y'all winning the NFC?
What do you mean in terms of like number 1 seed?
Yeah, 12-5 should be close, right?
I don't think they're number 1 seed. I don't really want it. I don't like bye weeks, if I'm being honest. I don't like them, and I don't know if 12-5 is good enough to be number 1 seed. I'm not sure. Like I said, until it happens, I do still have the 49ers up there. We talked about it a little bit on Wednesday. There's the Falcons. There's the Eagles I'm not worried about. There's Cowboys, which we saw last year in the playoffs, definitely not worried about. But I can't take down the 49ers yet just because of how much they've owned the Green Bay Packers. I hate to admit it, but they have. So I have them winning the North. I have them going far in the playoffs, but number 1 seed, probably not.
Very interesting. All right. Man, that's some really nice schedule predicted there, but the Vikings a little bit less optimistic on this one. And the Bears, that's still respectable. I like it. Let's move forward. Drum roll for the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Who do we have? Dion, talk to us. 14-3.
That's crazy.
I
just gave you so much hype. Dion. I just my whole and you're just sitting there just waiting for your thing to pop up, just like, yeah, he better wait for this one. 8 and 9.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, man. I wasn't gonna say nothing. And I'll say this too. And I was debating. I'm like, should I put the Bears at 11-6? That was the one thing I was going back on. I'm like, maybe I should make the Bears even better here. Here's where I'm at with it, Bass. And for me, it's you look at the Bears schedule. It's going to be like, what does it look like immediately? Because I feel like if they say they got out, right? They beat the Titans and the Colts. Say they got out 2-1, right? Maybe lose to Houston. After that, I think they could absolutely go on a run. Like they could put 4 of the next 5. Like they could absolutely roll after that. I mean, their schedule goes Panthers, Jags, Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots. You could win all of those games through the Bears. So I think the Bears have an opportunity to get out to a hot start, and I think that's ideal with their whole offensive situation. But I do like that. I feel Matt Eberflus in that defense, like they're going to come out stingy defensively. That part should be ready. Like offensively, I think teams can come out shaky depending on who it is, depending on how much consistency you have. So I can expect that with the Bears. But defensively, I think they're going to come out and be very difficult for teams to move the football. And I think that's the part that's going to give teams problems early, and it's also going to lead to them getting out to a really hot start. When we move on the Packers, I feel very similar. I'm looking at it very similarly. I just have the feeling that they may have a couple more hiccups at the beginning of their schedule. Like, for example, Tennessee Titans week 2. For whatever reason, I like the Titans a little bit, and I think the Tennessee Titans could be a really interesting one versus the back end that the Green Bay Packers had. I know Bass talked about this on Wednesday, kind of talked about their cornerback situation a little bit there. Not to say it's bad. I always like how they play in the back end, but I just think that's a really interesting matchup that on the road, Tennessee could kind of shake it up and get a 1 o'clock win there that surprises everybody. So that's the real big difference to me. And when I go to the Lions side, I think the Lions schedule a little bit different than Onebar here. I think this is clearly the toughest schedule in the division. Just by looking at it, maybe if I dove into everyone individually, I'd feel a little bit different. But I think for the Lions, it's really going to be about how fast do they get out, because the schedule does not get easier. It doesn't really feel like it has a lot of dips in it. But it comes down to what is, you got a lot of returning playoff teams, and you're going to have a tricky one with Arizona that's on the road. You got a lot of really good teams really early for the Lions. And for me, that's what it's going to come down to. I personally think the Lions get out to about a 7-0, 8-0 kind of start. And I think because of that, they'll set themselves up to drop a couple late in the season, and they'll have this gap that they've created within the division because, again, hey, this is my prediction, but Baz ain't going to like this. I think the Packers drop a couple early that we're not expecting. I think the Lions get up like a 4-game lead on the division about halfway through the season, potentially. Then they drop a couple, fall back a little bit, maybe drop out of the 1 seed, but I think by the time that they're 14-2, they'll rest guys against Minnesota, and we'll give the Vikings 1. So that's why I got them at 6-11 there. That's kind of where I'm at with this, though. I felt a little bit like I should have put the Bears up because their schedule's favorable. Schedule's very favorable, I think.
So I asked Baz, so Lions are the 1 seed now?
I think 14-3 probably puts you at the 1 seed. Only other team I can see competing for that is Atlanta, just because of the division they'll play. I think they could sweep through it. I don't see San Francisco winning 14 games when you have to play the Rams, Seattle. There's going to be some tricky games in there. I think 14 games probably gives you the 1 seed.
Nick, you keep getting respect, man.
That's how
I
it
know they
always
keep
is in the
talking
preseason.
highly about me. Come on now.
Oh man, hold on. Let me check. Let's check on our guy.
I already know.
Hey guys, how's it going?
All right, man. Last but not least, the most respected, right? Okay. All right. Well, Nick, take it away. Help us understand.
Well, I want to say thank you to everybody for talking about the Bears most in their overall teams during their segments. I really appreciate it because I'm excited about this season, TD. And again, this is going to be a really tough division. And like we kind of been saying the entire time, the top 3 teams, you can flip them pretty much anywhere throughout this record. It's really going to depend on where each person ends up going through. I'm just going to get it out of the way. Onebar, I'm sorry. I have very low expectations for the Minnesota Vikings. They, like you said, they could shock a lot of people. But just with, people that are missing, injuries you've had, I got the Vikings at 6-11. So Onebar, I just want to apologize out of the gate for that. But, it's okay.
Don't apologize. It'll feel much better when they win some games.
I was in your shoes. No, but and then you go over I went through and kind of saw how each schedule was ranked. And the Bears have the 3rd easiest schedule in the NFL this upcoming season based off winning percentages of other teams last year. The Packers have the 19th toughest, the Lions 21st, and then the Vikings 28th. So they have definitely harder records than the Chicago Bears. And like we were kind of saying, the Bears out of the gate could be really hot. You play Tennessee. Houston, I have that as a loss. Indianapolis, that's going to be a win. Los Angeles Rams, I have the Bears losing. So you start 2-2, but then you go on a little bit of a run here. You beat Carolina. It's a toss-up between Jacksonville. But then Washington, Arizona, New England, just like Bass said, that Week 10 game, I have the Bears beating the Packers that week. You go to Minnesota, or you play Minnesota at home again, you win that game. Detroit, I think we're going to lose in Thanksgiving. Detroit's a tough team. It's at home. I got to respect them for that. I think it's going to be close. We have upset it before, but I think Detroit's got the edge. Then we play San Francisco and then go to Minnesota. That's where a couple of losses come into play. But then if you have Detroit again at home, they can't win in Chicago. You have Seattle at home, they're rebuilding, you beat them. And then I have the Bears losing their final game against the Green Bay Packers. But still, the Bears are going to go on a little bit of run in the middle of the season and finish 10-6. I think the Lions are a good team, but that tough schedule that they have is the reason why they're going to go 10-7. And Green Bay, I have them at 9-8 right now. I could see them potentially getting to 10-7. I know that we had that up as the first graphic, but they do have a really tough schedule, and it really depends on if they can stay healthy or not. I know McKinney has not stayed healthy -1 season at safety. That's a big factor for them on defense. If Jones can stay healthy, who hasn't been healthy consistently either, that's another big part of their or Brandon Jacobs. Sorry, not Aaron Jones. But
Josh
like
Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs. Wow,
Yeah.
0 for 3. But but if Josh Jacobs can stay healthy, that kind of determines it as well. But he has a history of getting hurt. So if the Packers can stay healthy, they'll be better than this. But with the records that they have, I have them at 9-8. But I think that they're going to be competitive across the board. It's going to be a fun division. And I think that I know we kind of talked about it on the side. I know Dion's talked about it too. This could be a 3 playoff division right now. It's going to be a super tough division, and it's wide open right now. But I got the Bears at 11-6.
Very interesting. Let me ask you this, Baz. Everybody disrespecting you, bro.
Yeah, it's common. I mean, when you own a division this long and everyone's slogan is about the Packers, FTP and screw the Packers, it's always about us. So, of course, when they're doing their predictions, it's going to be what they want to happen, which is the Packers on third, or Jordan Love, the third best quarterback, or the worst receiver room in the division. It's
all
all
like a lot directly at me, man.
I mean, to be fair, you've put us under the Bears a lot. A lot.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Yeah, you're right.
With whatever position group and whatever it may be. I don't know, man. It's the same song and dance I hear every offseason. So, I mean, it's not like I take too much weight to it.
Yeah, this is very interesting. They got you at an average of about 9 wins if I take your own out.
So we're just going to win one.
Packers.
We're just going to, just be the same as last year. Like, I just don't see it.
So that's what it was last year, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. What? 9-8. Yeah.
Now, Bass, I got them worse. Just so you.
And Detroit is averaging at 11 wins based off of this. If I take Dion's out, and Chicago is averaging 9.5 wins. This is very interesting, man. Oh, I didn't even count Minnesota.
I think everybody has at 6.
We have them. Yeah, we have them all at 6 and 11. That's the one thing we can agree on here.
Here's what all I want to say is end with this is I think and hope one of the top 3 teams is just gonna crap the bed this year, and it's gonna surprise everybody. Whether it's the Bears, the Packers, I don't think it'll be the Lions. Like all of a sudden, it's like, wow, that came out of nowhere, and I'll have a little company.
Stand on the Baz. Give us who it's gonna be.
Honestly, Dion, you're gonna hate me for this. No, I'm just kidding. The Bears would be as close. The Bears would be as close to the Vikings if any team. Like I've been saying, the Packers and Lions are gonna be close. Like I'm not gonna discredit what they did last year. And as Dion mentioned Wednesday, their roster didn't get worse. There's a lot of uncertainty with Chicago. Not saying Caleb Williams can't be great, but we know what the Lions did with that roster. You saw it. You saw it last year. Where it's the Bears, you don't know. So I think if there's any chance of that happening, it would be the Bears. And surprisingly,
That's
the
fair.
Vikings being above them.
Onebar, do you see it that way, or who do you just say, man, they could really fall?
I don't know if anyone's really gonna fall. Like I consider any of these 3 teams not making the playoffs not a great season for them. Like you guys should make the playoffs. If the Vikings were somehow to make the playoffs, I'll be on here topless, just whacking champagne. But like if honestly, I think it'd be the Packers. Like, but I don't think it's gonna happen. If I had to pick one to be the Pack, I think the Bears are going up, and I don't think the Lions are going anywhere.
Dion, talk to me. Which one would it most likely be?
No, I look, and that's the best. Honestly, you should have just said the Lions to me. I welcome it because I keep thinking the Packers. I'm just being consistent. I think it'll be the Packers that take a step back this season. I think they'll be one of the teams that take a real step back this season. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's just
Gotta really
it's
can't
not
wait
a-
to bookmark this video.
Hey,
Great.
please do. Look, This ain't even like I think that if one team does, I just think it's actually going to happen. It's my prediction that it will happen.
Yeah, I'm feeling bad for you, Bass. Okay,
Yeah,
Nick.
I feel bad for
Nick,
Baz. What about me, man?
You don't want to come over here.
Six
You don't
wins,
want to
man.
come
I'm
over
getting
here.
6 wins.
Nick, come on, man. Who is it? Which team do you think, like, shockingly could fall?
It's just that okay. So like, I'm gonna say it's not because Bass said the Bears like being close to the Vikings. I'm saying the Packers because of the fact that there's more film on Jordan Love than they had before. So teams are going to be able to figure him out a little bit more. On top of I know Bass just wants to absolutely like reach through the screen and start choking people. I think that like this team, there's a he's taking it off. Overall, I was kind of saying in my record predictions is that this team has a lot of what if situations too. Like if certain guys get hurt quickly, things are going to go downhill for the Packers. So that's who my pick is that I think the Packers are going to regress, but they're still going to be a tough team to beat this year. There's no denial of that. I just think that the division is more of a level playing field now.
Man, oh man. Well,
minus one bar. Sorry, one bar.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All 4 gentlemen have spoken, and the consensus is 7-win Packers en route. All right.
Flip it.
Oh, man, this might be one we got to reference back to, good or bad, Bass. This is interesting that it's unanimous across the board. Man, listen, just don't have a record worse than Minnesota.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, that'd be beautiful.
You guys are ripping into one bar too. We're just the 2 targets.
Yeah, we got some clips. If something
There's
goes,
no Midwest nice in this video today.
something goes
Oh,
sideways
you're
this year, we're
mean.
gonna have some good clips as far as if we shock the world
Yes, we will.
and if the Packers win the division.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to the NFC North Roundtable. This was your division standings prediction show. All right, next week, tune in right here on Wednesday night, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., right here on the NFC North Roundtable, because we're going to have our first official picks for the season. All right, we're going to be previewing the games, talking about the latest news, giving score predictions, and here you have it right here. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Let your friends and family members know about the channel as well. Until next time, we love you all. We'll see you soon. Peace. We are out.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Roundtable Sports Network brings you NFL divisional debate coverage on a weekly basis from your favorite content creators across YouTube, featuring the AFC East Roundtable live Monday and Wednesday evenings, the AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. EST, the NFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 9 p.m. EST, the NFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the AFC North Roundtable live Wednesdays at 6 p.m. EST, the NFC East Roundtable live Thursdays at 6 p.m. EST. Roundtable Sports, real coverage from real fans.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.